In the post-FTX world, the world of personal finance on YouTube has taken a bit of a belting, but the truth is that there are plenty of great content creators out there. So in this video, we're going to go through red flags that you have to watch out for when you're watching finance content. Only fans of doom porn. These people are addicted to the algorithm, and the easiest way to get a bump in the algorithm is shock value. The housing market is going to crash. You will lose all your cash by tomorrow. Basically being the loudest kid in the classroom. But did that kid always have the best things to say? Let's look at Graham Stephan. He has predicted the housing apocalypse for quite a few years, and it hasn't really panned out that way. In 2020, he put out a video called Upcoming 2021 Real Estate Collapse. The following year, How the Housing Crash Will Happen. Then we have Don't Buy a Home in 2022. Then we have The Housing Market is Sinking. And then the biggest housing crash for a generation. And then he really steps up a gear, and we get 3 videos in the space of about 6 months, all with the same topic. Real estate investing is supposed to be his thing, and all of his predictions just haven't come true. But we like to be fair on this channel, so let's look at the data. This is the data from 2020 up until up consistently. Further evidence, and here's data from the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis. Median house prices haven't completely collapsed, they've risen. And this might seem harmless initially, but the problem is that someone might be watching this video and decide not to buy a home in 2020. Now imagine if you are that person. So take a look at this graph. We have 15-year mortgages in green and 30-year in blue. You could have got a mortgage for as low as 2.1%, but now you're paying 6 to 7% on a home that is also more expensive. So how furious would you be? So for him, it's a sensationalist video for some clicks from someone who already has a lot of money. But for someone in his audience, it may well have proven to be a catastrophic financial outcome, where the delaying the purchase of a home means they missed out on great mortgage rates. Addicted to being a contrarian. As a society, we have an insane tendency to deify people who hold the opposite view. And this is the case in pop culture, in the media, but not everyone who is a contrarian is a Steve Jobs or a Michael Burry. If the sky is blue and they say it's red, then that's not a good sign. The truth is there are some core principles of personal finance and investing that will be true for the rest of time. Having a financial plan, spending less than you make, investing in low-cost index funds, avoiding high-interest debt. These are all well-established personal finance best practices. So coming to a conclusion because someone else came to the exact opposite conclusion isn't critical thinking. It's a complete lack of critical thinking and a complete lack of brain cells, if we're totally honest. Stock picker. Someone once told me that there are more PhDs on Wall Street than there are at NASA. NASA are literally putting people into space, and they're the giants of the finance world who spend all the money on God's green earth to get a competitive, analytical or marginal advantage so that they can bet on it. The finance sector is filled with people who do literally nothing else all day other than study financial statements, pore over economic data and track every indicator known to the human race. And it's worse than that. The truth is that this has been studied time and time and time again, that 99% of managed funds underperform the market. So we have to ask ourselves, what's the likelihood of a single person on YouTube being able to outsmart the market? So the idea that these people understand the market and are offering investing advice for individual stocks is absolutely insane. And this is a really big red flag. And this is Scotty T, a tragic overhang from Trash TV who was literally outsmarted by a 6-year-old and was on Instagram selling scammy investing courses in FX trading. Now, how likely does it seem that he's going to be in a position to provide nuanced stock trading or FX trading advice? And he might be going to jail for selling it. Frugality will solve all ills. How many times do you see a moron saying about how not buying coffee or avoid avocado on toast? All that stuff. It's sort of a meme, but you still kind of hear a lot about it. And without looking too far, what you invariably find is that the people who preach frugality may not necessarily practice it in their own lives. Take Kevin O'Leary. He tells everyone not to buy coffee, but spent $2,000 on a denim jacket, wears a $6,000 Tom Ford custom-made suit, and has a watch collection valued at over $1.5 million, including an AP for $800k, a Rolex Daytona Eye of the Tiger for $200k, a Patek Philippe for $500k. Sorry, watch people, your world is absolutely fascinating to me, but it's something I know nothing about. Google told me these values, so please don't absolutely flame me in the comments. Now, I don't have a problem with him buying this stuff. His net worth is estimated at $400 million. He can do what he likes, but he didn't get to wearing $500,000 on his wrist by avoiding avocado. And this is the thing about frugality. Whilst it makes up a really important part of your wealth building journey, the primary way that most people will build wealth is through their income. It's the money that you don't spend that will go towards building your wealth. Putting the same focus on growing your income is a much more valuable way of building wealth. It has a potentially unlimited upside, gets you to your wealth goals faster, and allows you to live a little more. They only talk about the sexy stuff. Speak to anyone who runs a small business, your local grocery store, the florist on the high street, the Starbucks, the plumber who came to fix your toilet. all of them will say the same thing, that starting a business is hard, that there are so many things that you have to be able to keep on top of all at the same time. Are the rewards worth it? Sure, they can be. But if they make out that they swan around from club to club in their ostentatious car without a care in the world, then chances are that's because they're not living in the real world. Starting a business is hard work. Growing a business, even harder. So if they can only show you the sexy stuff, then maybe that's because they aren't doing the hard miles on the road. Glib morons. It's not exactly a groundbreaking idea to suggest that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, that having your net worth split across multiple different asset classes and multiple income streams is sound financial advice. But one thing you hear a lot, mostly from the crypto bros, is, yeah, you could buy lame stocks, and then regale with you about why 100% of your assets in Dogecoin is a sound idea. And I find this glib attitude to anything other than what they're doing is just so annoying. So this is a serious red flag for me. They don't offer any other money advice. There is so much more to personal finance than what you invest in. How do you invest? What tools do you use? How do you manage your tax liabilities? Do you use a budget? What kind of budget? These are fundamental aspects of personal finance which you should have a good handle on before you start thinking about investing. And that is and always will be true. There is no point investing for an average of 8% per year returns if you have credit card debt at 30%. That's just basic maths. Failure to adhere to some of the basic tenets of personal finance should be a red flag for all of us. Anecdotal versus actual. I have a friend who did blah 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 blah. Sounds like Jay from the In-Betweeners.
On holiday in Spain one year, me and my mate took a pedalo out and we went to Africa.
It's a very easy way for people to be able to wash their hands of any consequences. So if the particular influencer you're looking at can't provide meaningful examples or a detailed path to how they got their success, or they can't do an interview about it, then I think initially that's going to be a problem and another red flag. Not being able to clearly articulate how you succeeded and the factors that contributed to your success, I think is a problem. Goalpost galore. We see this all the time. The Fed has crashed the market. No, they haven't. The Fed cancelled the recession. Oh, cool, that seems a good thing. Congress wants to ban stock trading. Do they really? And you see this time and again. When they get this shit wrong, it's not because they got it wrong, it's because of some external factor outside of their control changed the outcomes that they were predicting. Whilst to some degree that's true of all predictions, when it's every time, red flag. Who you trust when it comes to your finances is an incredibly important decision. It doesn't have to be me or anyone online, but find someone who understands you, who understands your goals and your circumstances. If not, then they're just a tramp at the park screaming at ducks. The truth is, as is with most things, getting a second opinion and forming your decisions based on multiple sources of information is the best way to go. But the number one thing to look out for is, if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. And honestly, good personal finance is not just about where you invest, but it's also having the presence of mind to have a plan for your money, the self-discipline to stick to it, and the foresight to automate it. Whose information do you trust and why? And who are the people where red flags are bringing up all over the place? If enough people comment, then I'll do another video about the personal finance creators who I think are good eggs and the ones who are bad apples. Thanks very much for watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, legends abound. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel.